BC, Mike Almazur of Bolt, and Anderson Madison County Regional Bureau. Their help and support are live streaming today and will be live streaming the final tomorrow. Tonight you're bowling 3 games. You're going to skip 6, bowl on the 7th.
Yeah, that's fine. You can text me.
Make sure you get all the scores written on your score sheets, both copies. Take the entire board with you, and we will come around and get the scores so we can get the updates and get them up there for you. Okay? Once practice is over, you cannot alter the surface of the ball and then use it in this squad. It has to be a dry towel or chamois only. Brackets and side pots are available until practice is over. Paying 1 in 5, so at least 84 of you are getting paid. That loaded cash number right now looks like it is about 573 or so. Don't give anything away, don't give up. I want to recognize some of the people that have bowled on this squad or that have won the tournament before. On 23, 2015 Scratch Classic winner Trent Jarvis, and on 30, 2012 Masters champion Mark Sullivan. If you would now stand for the national anthem. Alrighty, turn the lanes on. You get 10 minutes of practice on your starting pairs only. Please wait until the machines come on before you throw the balls.
saying that it was set, it was offset. Like you're interested in it.
I like to know what's going on.
It doesn't seem like we're going to get a whole lot more than what's down
You
here.
said between 1 and 2 a.m. it's going to be, like, the heavy shit's going to be out. Yeah, see where right? Is that what? Yeah. And then it's going to just be flurries or showers once in a while. I saw they sent 52 bill down. See, they sent that down.
It's not yet, but
Shut it down for about an hour so they can plow and salt. Must have been getting pretty bad.
the nice thing is what time? 9:30 is when everything starts tomorrow.
Show up here
So I'll be here about 9. Really? I guess probably we could get here maybe about 8:45. That way everything's up and running by 9. 1 and 2 have 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. It started that late.
All right, bowlers, if you would start holding up on your practice, please. Hold up on your practice.
That was the first lane to come on.
1 and 2 has a minute and 50 seconds.
Okay, last call. Side spots in bracket. Most pairs have 4 on it. There are some pairs that have 5. If you have a letter E, we need to get it off there before you get passed out on the bowling.
Don't turn them.
So if you need help with that, you can use the counter, or if you're doing it.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Savage Bowling TV's presentation of the 2021 Indiana Masters here from Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana, and a very snowy Anderson, Indiana. And wherever you're at in the Indiana or the state of Indiana, I hope you're safe and inside the comforts of your home. And we thank you for watching our live stream of, to me, one of the best tournaments in the state. And we're in the final squad to determine our top 16 guaranteed into match play. And then positions 17 through 48 will come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 and bowl 2 games to seed the remaining 16 players in our bracket.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of bowling today and a little bit of everything, a lot of good scores. Then there's a lot of bad scores, and people bowl good one game and really bad the next game.
I was in the bad scores, Chad.
You were consistent.
Consistently bad, yeah. Well, I think the difference from this year from the past has been one thing. The outsides have hooked so much. Before you got it outside 4 or so, it didn't hook.
Right.
Now it's hooking, and the urethane is very much in play. And really, to be honest with you, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that the winner of this tournament will be throwing urethane.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The only thing, you could see that person probably going away from urethane for a little bit, but then going back to it.
Yeah, E.J. Tackett made that comment. He started off with some polymer, the microcell polymers that Motive puts out. And then game 3, it just started laboring. He said carry wasn't very good, and he jumped way left with a Symetra ball that's a little bit more controllable.
Sure.
I believe he said the Venom Shock, and he was able to shoot 240 his last game. Now, John Murphy started out with a 140 game, and then he switched to a Venom Shock and played right up like 1 or 2. And he goes 250, 230, and he found himself in the top 20, I think, last I checked, yeah, he was 22nd. So, again, you never know, but obviously it's really hard when you dig yourself a big hole after game 1.
Sure, and that, John there, he had to have 2 big games to get right back up there. Now, come tomorrow, these lanes are going to transition totally different tomorrow because it's only 1 game on a pair, and you're going to another pair,
And typically, there's only, to start, there's only, 1 match, I believe, or 2 matches on a pair to start.
I think there's one.
I think it's only 1 match.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to change, more. It's going to be slower on the change, but it's going to change different. And Shelby's over here. I think she probably wants to get on here with us.
I think she's,
She's watching.
her sister.
Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow is when all the excitement begins. They'll come back at 9:30 in the morning, positions 17 through 48, and they're going to bowl 2 more games. And then the 16 bowlers from that will join the top 16 to determine who's going to start the finals. Finals will start between, sometime between 11 and 11:30 tomorrow morning, depending on when they get the lanes done. And then probably around between 5 and 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, we'll have a champion.
Well, and Zach Weidman has a chance to repeat. He's in the top 16 right now. And let's see, other past winners, I believe John Verbic is in the top 10. Jimmy Cook, who has won the Scratch Classic twice, he's in the top 10. E.J. Tackett, who has yet to win one of these, which is amazing at how many times he's been in the finals of the Scratch Classic, or even in the, maybe the final 8 players here in the state Masters, and hasn't come up with a win yet. So Gene Perez looking to solidify himself in the top 16. He is in 13th position going into this last squad. So we do have some past winners. The defending champ again right there in 9th place.
Well, we know one thing for sure with that, just those players you mentioned, the field is strong. And to get to the championship match is not going to be easy.
Well, it looks like, too, or sounds like that they might be knocking on the door of a record number of entries. So,
yeah, by a couple maybe. They're checking on that. And during these times, it's remarkable to get that many entries.
Really, since COVID has, been a part of our daily lives here for the last almost year, since May or so, or June of last year, you've seen a big spike in entries in tournaments.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder, do bowlers think that at some point in time there's not going to be a tournament to bowl? I don't know. But
or there's just not as much to bowl, so some of those tournaments that are pretty successful, they're getting more entries. The Scratch Classic had a record number of entries this year, back in November, and so did the Queens.
Yeah, we're working on Jeff to put together a senior state Masters. I think it would be a huge success.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of bowlers that won't come here and compete in this tournament because they can't compete with the younger players. And there's still some over 50 that come, but it would be an interesting field for sure. If he can run it similar to what he does with the Queens, it might be a hit.
All right, we're just underway here in the final squad. Chad Lester, Scott Gilmore here in the broadcast booth. Going to be a late night for us here.
At least we don't have to be here at 6:15 tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. Amen to that. We will, however, have the final tallies and cut scores and your top 16 announced before we leave the air tonight.
Correct.
We'll have that for you. And then we will shut it down and go home to our hotel. Luckily, it's not far down the road.
Yeah, half a mile.
And it looks like we got...
There's about 3 inches probably out there.
You know, they were talking about a lot more. Now the rain's supposed to come in.
Tomorrow.
And hopefully by the time we trek our way back to Lafayette, or I should say West Lafayette / Brookston,
Yeah.
where you're from, that the roads aren't near as bad.
Hey, if we just have to go a little bit slower, I'm fine with that. See Tim Mack there on lane 3. Great to see him out bowling now.
Yeah, and he's really excited to be back bowling again. You know, he's been through a knee replacement, and he's had a lot of injuries in his career. But for many, many years was considered the top amateur in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, he just bowled bowled all 28 games of the Players Championship Regional. So I'm sure that's got to feel good to be competing at that level again. I'm going to walk over here to my computer because there's people chatting.
Oh, yeah. Feel free to send us some questions, some chats, whatever it may be. Love to hear from you.
Chris Nunn, isn't he bowling? Is he bowling and watching this at the same time?
Who's that?
Chris Nunn. Yeah, he's just bowling in here on 1 and 2. He said Joe Moulton said he'd love to bowl a Masters for the seniors.
So here's
and then Chris Nunn said you're only 29 years old.
I wish. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I should say gentlemen, if you're over 50, you need to bug the crap out of Jeff Circle and the state board and petition to have a senior Masters event here in the state of Indiana. I'm telling you, I talked to Mark Sullivan for a few minutes about a week ago, and we both talked about it, and we think it's a can't-miss event to where I think you might see a huge number of players, 50 to 65, participate. If you look up and down this weekend, I should say today, essentially, there have been a solid number of 50-plus bowlers. How many of those bowlers that are 50 don't play because, like you said, Chad, bowling against the youth, the younger kids, with the rev rate and all of that, they don't feel they can compete. Now, they're going to bowl against their peers, you know, when you're bowling against 50 or older players. And I'll be honest.
You're 2 years away.
I'm only 2 years away from that.
So are you doing it for yourself?
Yeah. No, you know, I'll be honest with you. I was so impressed with the Queens last year that I thought, you know what, it'd be nice to see guys that are over 50 have an opportunity to compete against
I agree.
their peers, players of the same age, and I think it would be a great show. And there is a ton of talented 50 and older players.
Look where we're from. Dave Hurt, Gary Ness,
Terry Clayton,
Steve Hartman. Some of those guys, and I know for a fact some of those guys won't come bowling this because they don't think they can compete at the higher level that they used to be able to compete at. That higher level that they need to compete against these guys.
Here's Timmy Mack on lane 4, working on a double, throwing urethane. Looks like a pitch black, and that one he missed just right. And there is the 2, 4, 8, 10.
We've seen a lot of that. Doug Weedman's in the chat, said the senior event needs some oil. A little flat provides the challenge, but many senior players are speed challenged. And he's probably right about that.
Well, I think one thing that obviously, and this is no slight against the senior, you have a little bit of a softer pattern.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to.
And kind of like what they do for the ladies on the Queens, you know, it's a softer pattern. Let them score.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a heck of a show. Let us know what you think. If you think we should have a senior Masters in Indiana, chime in. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you're from another state watching, and if you have a senior Masters, let us know. We'd love to know what kind of format
How many entries do you get?
and how many entries.
You know, if you did, you know,
There's got to be something like that in Florida.
yeah.
A lot of senior people down there during the winter time.
I don't think you'd have a problem finding a host.
Oh, no.
And I think, personally, I think it needs to be in between this tournament and the Queens.
Yeah. Yep. Sometime in middle February,
Absolutely.
you know. -ish.
Right after the Super Bowl.
Several people here in the chat say they'd be in.
Hey, you need to let Jeff Circle know. There's got to be a link on Indiana State's USBC page
To contact.
to contact. Can you share that in the chat?
Let me find it.
And maybe what we can do is have them email.
You know, this is up to the board to do this, but, I mean, they would be open to suggestions. I see an email here, Brian Nunning's email.
There you go. There's a guy that you can talk to.
I'm going to put this. And I heard Brian's sick this weekend, so I hope he's getting along good.
Yeah, Brian, we hope you get to feeling better. We miss you here. I enjoy your sense of humor. And obviously we appreciate your support as you share a lot of our information, and we appreciate that a lot. And
John Kelly just texted Kerry Kane, and Kerry's in the office. Kerry will probably come out here. What are you guys doing?
well, I asked Jeff Circle about it, and he flipped out because he's like, well, who's going to run it?
He already runs enough.
You.
You know, he's going to be here the Super Bowl weekend running a doubles tournament.
Well, that's his fault.
So that's next weekend.
Well, and the frustrating thing for Timmy Mack is he came right back on the left lane on lane 3 with the strike. And that 2-4-7, or excuse me, the 2-4-8-10 really has.
We've seen that a lot today by everybody. Oh, a lot of right-handers.
Well, it's easy to go, you know, wash out 5 count and then turn it right around and go big 4. I mean, it's.
Right.
Or some kind of 4-6 combination. You know, and I normally as competitive as I am, and I thrive bowling in this tournament. I love it. Not to say I've had some success, but I mean,
When you finished second 3 times.
4.
4?
4 times.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 times. I hate to say that, but I finished second in back-to-back years.
I remember that. Let's go on to 7 and 8 here.
Jerry Krupa and Randy Robertson beat me in back-to-back years, and then in, I think it was 2011 when Kevin Michalowski beat me, and then I lost to, where is that? Mike Lish in 2015. So if you bowl me in the finals, I like your chances.
Yeah, our cameras are set up on 3 and 4, 7 and 8, and 13 and 14. All 3 cameras get switched around about every 3 or 4 frames. So you should see each lane during a game.
Yeah, and here's
Samantha New
on lane 7 with a nice shot strike. She needed that.
Yeah, she's been working hard today in the squad she's bowled in.
Well, I tell you what, I don't care what you shot. You had to work hard for it. There's just.
It's all about, staying out of trouble. And it was so easy to get in trouble, as we saw with you and a lot of other players. It's a little bit of a miss, and you pay for it.
I really wish I would have brought my purple hammer. just to see what it would do on this.
Sure.
I'm not saying it that I could have thrown that in one of my two squads and all of a sudden had the world and would have been inside the cup, but I sure would have liked to have seen it roll down the lane. There's some guys with some pretty soft hands that are throwing urethane that are getting it to do quite a bit and retain a lot of energy and hit hard.
Yeah, and you know, at least if you could have gotten to throw it and you didn't score, at least you know you've done everything you could.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
not having a ball, you're playing a what-if game.
And, you know, lesson learned, you know, in a grand, here's what I have to do. And I'm not saying, I don't want to sit here and talk about what I need to do in general, but I think I need to learn how to throw spares with it. So therefore I don't bring my plastic ball, my urethane ball is my spare ball.
Right.
On normal stuff,
Sure.
right? And then therefore, you know, if you bring 6 or 9, whatever you do, you have 6 or 9 legitimate, you know, first balls out of your bag and not necessarily a spare ball.
Chris Curry said he'll be 50 in next August, and he's all about the Senior Masters. He said, I'll try to get in Jeff's.
There we go. Getting Jeff's ear.
Get
That a
in
boy,
it.
Chris. That a boy, Chris. Just keep talking to him. Hey, you know what? Why not? I'm 2 years away from it. You know, it'd be nice to have something to bowl that's not necessarily against, you know, EJ and
Oh, yeah.
some of these other players. So
And really, there's not many senior tournaments here in Indiana in general.
well, I don't know what Matt Painter says to the Boilermakers at the half,
I
but
see. They're going
but-
to win this game.
Brandon Newman's on fire right now. He's got 21 points.
Ooh.
Travion Williams has 15 and 12.
And they need that performance from Newman.
Yeah, of course, I know there's a lot of you out there that don't care about Purdue basketball, but I do.
Sorry, IU fans.
Yeah, but anyway, they
John Kelly said Trent Marner would be all about it.
yeah,
we know
boy-
that. We know that.
yeah. Trent Marner he bowled good today.
He did.
Bowled one squad and said, "See you later."
Yep.
He's probably at home shoveling snow.
It's not what I'd want to be doing, but it's got to be done. Zach Weidman's sharing our Facebook. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do.
Yes.
If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do. We try to get into some other things here in the spring and possibly summer that's not live stream related. Unfortunately, with no PBA, we won't be seeing those guys in February like we usually do. Kind of stinks, but they're doing what they need to do to have a tour, at least this first half of the season.
Yeah. Well, and I think excuse me, I might have missed a few things that you said, and I don't want to repeat something, but like EJ said, it's not every year that they have a chance to bowl in this, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's like Matt Sanders come up and he's like, "Man, you guys got the good setup for this." He goes, "I'm impressed." I was like, "Well, this is what we always have." He goes, "But I don't get the bowl this term." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
yeah, normally the PBA is in full swing in the winter.
Yeah.
Because remember,
Or they're bowling a major right now, probably. You know.
well,
usually.
only in February. Remember, February it traditionally is
Back to back
major
to back.
month
Yeah.
because the Players Championship, the TOC, and I believe the Masters was all in the month of February, I think.
Yes, because when we met up with them in 2020, everybody was fried after back-to-back-to-back majors. They just come off the U.S. Open.
I will have to say one thing. It's so much better back here watching than participating right now.
Well, you know what these guys are going through, for sure.
1 and 2 has not been kind to many people.
Kenneth Hoskins says, shout out to us. His men's team from Western Boone is going to make the high school state finals.
Nice.
We'll see you March 27th.
Always look forward to the Indiana high school state finals.
Yeah, it's a good time. Pro Bowl West in Fort Wayne, Big Center. Doug Weedman said he gave Phil Raymond some advice and said on his arsenal in high school and said, don't waste your time on plastic.
All right, now we need Phil Raymond to respond to that, right?
Well, he'll probably tell us he agrees. Well, he'll take a resin ball to the Peterson and throw it dead straight.
Yeah, I don't know
He'll
how he
bowl
did.
well. He's like, he always says, Doug taught me how to throw a proper straight ball.
Yeah, and he was, I mean, it was dead straight with
It was-
a dull resin ball.
Yeah.
And he shot like 15. He threatened the lead.
He did.
With like a game or two to go. He had a chance to take the lead.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Phil couldn't make it this year. He had to work. He's very bitter about that.
Well, you know what? It's guaranteed money, Phil.
Yes, it is.
Or it should be. See a lot of young kids bowling with Indiana High School. Their old
Yeah.
bowling shirts, the Kentucky All-Star shirts over here.
It's crazy. We've seen some of these guys
College
maybe on
jerseys. Yeah,
our broadcasts.
yeah. Should we ask Angie for a plate of cookies?
Did you eat the last one?
It was kind of.
I don't want to push it. We usually get one a tournament.
That's all right. You buying breakfast tomorrow morning?
What?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh. Game one just about done here in front of us. Looking around at scoring. Let's see. Timmy Mack can shoot 210. Let's see what other scores I see a 217 on 1 and 2. I don't know who shot that. Chance for a 230 here on 5 and 6. I don't see a whole lot in front of us, do you, Chad?
No, I don't. Besides the scores that you just mentioned.
Boy, you know, when some of these guys that just contemplated bowling and, then talk themselves into it, and you start out with like a 140 or 50 game, there's nothing more deflating than that, is there?
Yeah, you start thinking, why did I do this? Well, it's kind of like the lottery. You can't win if you
And don't play
if
it?
you don't play. Yeah, you
Sometimes-
got to play it to win. So. Looking at 13 and 14, they're in their 10th frame, it looks like. We'll keep it here through the first 3 frames of the next game.
Nate Heichelbeck here on lane 13. Want to send our prayers to Nate as his wife is struggling with cancer, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
he shared some sad news with me earlier today, and we're sending our well wishes to the Heichelbeck family and wish them all the best.
Yes. Doug made a good point. If you never do it, you'll never learn from it. Talking about, bowling versus not bowling.
Well, there's a double for Nate. Not sure what he's got. I see a split late in the game, a couple of splits opened in the first, so I'm not sure where he's going to be at. but it looks like he needed that double in the 10th. Timmy Mack came up just a skosh high and left the 6 pin, which was kind of an odd leave.
There you go with that skosh again.
Well, a skosh isn't much, but it's just enough to be good or bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Going to be a 160 start for Samantha New.
All right, kid, come on now, fill it up.
Well, Tim Mack here with a strike in the field ball would be at 199.
It's not a terrible start.
No. But when you start out strike, spare, double, you're thinking a little more than 199 maybe, especially when you're Timmy. And he comes in light with the 2-7 for 197.
Speaking of Samantha, this has got to be a huge learning experience for her. This is her first time bowling the Masters.
We got a Jimmy Cook spotting here, or sighting here behind 13 and 14.
He's not bowling, is
And
he?
he's not bowling, but he's helping somebody out, I'm assuming. Ball repping or something along those lines. Well, the gentleman that had a chance to shoot 230 just chopped the 6 off the 10 to shoot 2-0. There's nothing more frustrating than that. And we're down to a minute and 20 seconds left in the Purdue game. They're up 74-62 over Minnesota.
Wow.
Big win here for the Boilermakers.
Great win, especially on how they started out.
Yeah, they were down, I believe, 12 points at one time in the first half.
So we wait for them to change lanes.
Wisconsin got beat too, so Purdue is going to be even in the Big Ten standings with Ohio State and Wisconsin, and they hold the tiebreaker over Ohio State. So, and they're going to run their record to 7-1 at home. The only loss was that really bad Michigan game.
Yeah.
But Michigan is really good.
Very good.
All right, really, 217, 212, 202. That's about as big a scores as we have here in the 1, 2, 3, 4, first 5 pair of lanes. I really thought, Chad, that they were going to get really ugly.
Yeah, based on the last squad, the first game didn't, it was pretty good, but then after that, they tanked.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, I mean, when you strip an oil 4 times, they're going to change drastically.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what happens. The back end gets tighter, but the fronts
dry out.
Always burn up here really bad, and it really makes it tricky to get the ball down the lane. And again, urethane is going to be the dominant factor here tomorrow. Yeah, Jacob Sisk shoots 202. And you're thinking about when you're watching the first 5 or 6 pair, you're like, wow, that's 202 is one of the top scores. And when you look in the standings, 202 ain't enough right now.
No.
It might sneak you in the top 48, but you're going to have some work to do to get in the top 16. Should we tell Kerry to check out his email?
His text. Hey, we're telling people to text you. We're telling people to text you. Yeah. Somebody said they texted you about doing a senior masters. I think you'd be surprised if you had one. I think you'd have a pretty good turnout. You don't think?
Oh, you'd have a huge turnout.
There's quite a few. There's just quite a few people that won't come to Bull this. Never know unless you try. That's all I got to say.
We got a lot of things. We got 9 tournaments as it is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, our plate's pretty full.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you're getting the state tournament here soon.
We'll have to drop
But that would be dessert. So you got your main dish. Oh my goodness.
Don't say which one.
We're trying, seniors.
So I'm looking at our local. I'm on Facebook, and there's cars sliding backwards on Duncan Sagamore Parkway. That's the hill.
That's the hill.
That's the hill
Yeah. Wow.
that they shut down.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Lafayette.
Yeah, West Lafayette there.
West Lafayette. It looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
I was in there tonight, and I sat for like 2 hours. I'm on 65,
Ugh.
just south of Chicago.
Wow, Purdue ends up winning 81-62. They
Wow.
outscored Minnesota 51-27 in the second half. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Some turnaround in West Lafayette.
Oh, somebody just threw their shoes. Yeah, I think he's mad.
Well, yeah, I guarantee he didn't bowl bad as me, and I didn't do that. That, it's just the frustration, though, Chad, of this
Oh,
tournament. It's just not easy.
So match play, or the second round, somebody asked when the second round starts. Second round starts at 9:30 in the morning. And then the finals start at 11, which will probably be a little bit later than that. Usually is closer to 11:30. I have somebody from Tennessee, and it was 50 there today.
Shake it off.
I like watching Facebook after a Purdue win, because the same people who were just saying the other night that Painter should be fired are now praising Painter like
Yeah.
he's God.
Painter should never be fired. Newman with a game high 29 points.
That is awesome.
5 of 6 in the second half, or 5 of 5 in the second half from 3.
Wow. I like watching that kid shoot. I think
He
he's
is a pure shooter.
yeah, really good stroke.
All right, now back to, sorry, our
Yeah,
viewers are wondering. Let's get back to bowling. We
well,
agree.
nobody was bowling. We'll do some basketball. Now they're bowling on 13 and 14.
Trying to watch how other lefties play. Scotty Kramer,
But he
Bull-
throws at 100 mile an hour.
and he's got quite a bit of hand.
Yeah. So he overpowers the lane condition almost.
And he's almost 30 years younger than I am.
Yeah. We'll see how that looks in 10, 15 years.
Probably still pretty good.
Yeah.
See who we have here on our TV pairs here on Jeff Bowman on 3 and 4. Some guys I'm not truly familiar with. On 1 and 2, I see, looks like Brandon Stogsdill. We have, it looks like, see who else do we have in front of us.
A lot of new bowlers this year, I heard.
Yeah, I mean,
When he won't look at you, you masticate. I'm trying to get his attention on each side. I want to know who he wants.
Jacob Wright says, Gilmore, any thoughts on the gutter? They're seemingly not tightening up in the later squads this year.
it seems like they're what? Not tight.
Not tightening up in the later squads this year.
The gutter hooked. I mean,
Yeah, the gutter did hook.
If you could play the rail with the right ball, and it had to be urethane. I only saw a handful of guys that were able to throw resin around the gutter to get it to read consistently.
But yeah, you had to have a lot of speed. And even Scotty's not, I mean, it's consistent, but not 100% consistent.
Yeah, you got Danny Clark here on lane 14,
He'd for sure bowl in the senior.
and he's probably playing the twig. Yep. I threw my ball there, and it was hitting the 3-pin running away.
Yeah, I saw you get up there, and it was either washout or you almost missed the
I
head
mean,
pin to the right.
Yeah, somebody asked me if I was bowling again, and this would have been this squad, and I would have told him I would have rather had a root canal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was painful bowling 3 games.
If you watched the last squad, you saw Scott's first 2 frames of that second game.
I'm glad you switched
That-
the cameras off.
That was all day for him.
Oh,
And I said, you guys don't need to watch this. Let's.
yeah, Steve Lang over here on
I haven't seen Steve
1
for a
and
long
2
time.
bowling. See, he trekked through the white wilderness to get here. Now we're going to take another look here at Clark on the left lane. Struck his last time on the right lane. And again, he'll be playing the extreme outer portion of the lane.
Ah,
And that's what happens when you miss right, the 4-6. It was death. Little note here from Dave Slavin on Scotty Kramer. Says a little fun fact, was the first middle school 5th grade state champion, then was the 7th and 8th grade state champion,
wow.
and was the state high school runner-up his sophomore year after being the top seed.
Wow. That's quite a middle school and high school resume, really.
Dave said the interesting thing is, he said his stuff is almost conventional. It's a really short span.
Really? I would never have guessed that.
He gets a lot on the ball,
Yeah, he does.
and he got quite the backswing. It's impressive to watch.
It's almost straight up and down, and it's quick. Switch over to 7 and 8 here for 3 frames, and we'll head over to 3 and 4 to finish up the game.
I'm going to have to steal your charger here pretty soon.
I'm getting close. I don't know if I can. There, that's the closest it can get.
Oh, that'll work.
Always bring a phone charger on these long days.
Yep. It's amazing how much you spend on your phone when you have nothing else to do. But we
Yeah.
have a lot of bowling to watch.
Yeah, a lot of social media duties, so it's kind of like using the phone, using the computer. Jeff Mann's in the chat, said hi. Misses us, wishes he was here.
Yeah, what happened,
Yeah.
Jeff? Why didn't you bowl?
Collegiate
Ah.
restrictions.
Gotta love those. Quite a few Calumet kids here.
Yeah, one thing about Scotty, I've seen video of him. Never seen him in person. It's almost more impressive to watch it in person.
Yeah, he does not miss at the bottom.
No. What's going on over here?
I'm not sure what's going on, but
This-
the
people
same
are-
gentleman that was disgruntled on his way down.
Is it over lane courtesy?
No, you stop too. You're all gonna stop.
And you guys are watching it.
We
It's
got it
here on
right
7
here.
and 8.
And I'm not sure what happened, but
Yeah.
remember, this gentleman came down here that's on lane 7, was kind of throwing some stuff around.
Yeah, looked like he was mad about his bowling maybe, but maybe that wasn't it.
So I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not going to comment anymore on it.
Nope.
Jeff Circle is down there.
Management is down there. A wife is in the middle, or somebody. Jalen Mosley said, looks like I turned it on at the right time.
You might have, Jalen.
And these guys are crossing with each other, too. They're going to have to deal with each other for the next game and a half.
Well, you got to wonder, will this help or hurt?
Well, I mean, you got to think about the rest of the guys on the pair, too. It kind of messes with your concentration.
This is why you don't drink.
Hey, great point.
This is why you don't drink.
Sometimes you might not know what trouble you get yourself into either. Oh, you could tell. Only in the 8:30 p.m. squad. Only in the 8:30 p.m. squad. Oh my goodness.
Somebody commented in the chat that one of these guys hasn't bowled great all day. Probably not happy about it.
Well,
I don't know why he's still bowling.
well, that's what happens sometimes when you've literally bowled every squad,
Yeah.
and you might have partaken in a few liquid beverages. At this point, if you're Jeff Circle, you're like, can we just get this squad over with and we'll move on to Sunday? And by the way, Jalen Mosley, thanks for watching. You might not want to turn it right now.
Somebody says, what do they think this is, the Beach Grove Walmart? That viral video a few years ago. Chris Curry, social distance these two.
Oh. Huh. Well, I'm just...
He just doesn't, he doesn't want to let it be.
Yeah, he just needs...
Hey, let's go to 3 and 4.
That might be a good idea. All right, here we go.
Couple's been requesting it. Now, if you say, now people starting in the chat start asking me to go back to 7 and 8.
Well, obviously something
happened. Who knows? Who knows? Alcohol's involved.
I'm sure it has something to do with it.
Somebody says, gotta go to Circle. This wouldn't happen in Senior Masters.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you guys are great in the chat.
Well, we thank you for participating in our entertainment. It's been a wild 8:30 p.m. squad already.
And what would normally for us be, let's hurry up and get done so we can go home or go back, but this has been worth it. Usually the third game is when it gets exciting, though, because you're getting down to the crunch time and trying to figure out what that cut number is going to be. And
well, here's the other thing, though, Chad, is you hope whatever's going on here doesn't impact those around them that could be bowling well.
let's talk football for a second. Detroit Lions are dealing Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for 2 future first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Breaking news.
Wow. Boy, I got to, all those Colts fans,
They wanted Stafford.
they wanted Stafford.
He would have been a good fit, too.
That is a lot to give up
Oh, for sure.
for Matt Stafford, who's really not a young quarterback anymore.
No.
I wonder how excited Stafford is to get out of Detroit.
Well, he wanted out. Now you're going to Los Angeles. Warm weather. Well, I mean, I guess in Detroit you're in a dome, but beautiful stadium for sure. About halfway through game number 2.
The waters have sort of calmed, but I'm not sure they're all the way calm.
Yeah.
You know how you said earlier that I said it hadn't snowed and you said we were in kind of a little opening? I'm just
This is
kind of
what this
wondering
is?
if
Yeah.
we're in a little opening here. And
They got another game yet.
I know.
Well, and there was 2 other gentlemen back here in the concourse that was egging it on too. I don't know what was going on there, but they had to be told to be quiet.
Well, and if they're spectators,
Well, they were here bowling, but
boy, I wish we could really commentate right now on some really solid bowling, but
scores were really low.
there is not much in front of us right now.
No.
I think anybody right now that's in the top 16 is
Probably safe.
probably safe. Now, obviously, we're not getting a printout from Jeff because he's still over here watching lanes 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's clean, they've just got a lot of spares.
When you got guys right now, Chad, you can just tell by the body language. 1, they're not bowling well, and 2, they're really begging for anything right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of body languages of, I just want to get out of here.
And after you've had a long day of bad bowling, the last thing you want to do is hop in the car and drive in this. Oh, my goodness. Scotty Kramer with an absolute blower 8-pin.
Yeah, tomorrow answering a question here in the chat. Everything tomorrow, this whole tournament, start to finish, is on this pattern. So what you'll see tomorrow will be this pattern.
Well, you just got to hope that some of these pairs will hold up or break down right.
Yeah, for the right person.
I know last year in the final match between Zach Weidman and Jesse Gibson, it was pretty ugly. Now this year's championship pair is 7 and 8. Last year was 9 and 10. We don't know if that'll make a difference.
Yeah, you just don't know how much Jeff will use this. You know, he had to move from 7-8 to 9 and 10 last year. Chip White, hey, everybody loves Indiana basketball and Indiana bowling. That's a good opinion, I guess. I'll admit, though, when Purdue's out of the tournament and Indiana was in it, I'd root for Indiana a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I'm
it's
not.
Big Ten.
I'm
But
not
when
as-
Purdue plays Indiana, there's all kinds of hatred towards Indiana.
I'm not as bad as I used to be. I mean, I don't, you know, so many people let rivalries like that consume you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just a sport.
Yeah, and I always just feel like it's fun. It's a fun rivalry.
Well, I didn't see anything on 1 and 2. Right now, the highest score possible on 3 and 4 is 206. The highest score possible on 5 and 6 right now is 218. The highest score on 7 and 8 looks to be 218.
A lot of lower 200s.
.220 possibly out there on 9 and 10. And then the other scores, Chad, are like 140, 150, 160. You know,
You don't see the 180s, 190s.
No, it's.
Oops.
The old dreaded 3 off the right.
I saw somebody hit a right-hander earlier in the last squad, take out the 7-pin. He tugged it.
Well, and that was the 218 score on lanes 5 and 6. So
Not now.
that just dropped to about 190 something if he can. 191 if he.
Gene Perez is asking how the scores are. I would say he's pretty safe to be in the top 16, don't you?
Oh, Gene Perez. Come on, Gene. You're Lock City, baby. That 650 is gold right now. I'd imagine there's about 100 bowlers in this squad that would love to have your 657,
Oh,
Gene.
for sure.
And I think there's probably right around 100 bowlers in the squad. So. And the highest scoring squad of the day is going to be the 930, which is not
Pretty
a
normal,
surprise.
yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Every tournament, even when you ran the Lafayette Open, the high-scoring squad would always be the first one. Because you still got like Zach said, the memory of the house shot is out there. People are asking about 7 and 8. 7 and 8 seems to be pretty calm.
Yeah, cooler heads prevailed, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the guys on this pair and the guys around him are just.
Let's get this over with.
Boy, could you imagine if you had, you shoot 230 your first game and you start out a little shaky game 2 and then that happens and
Oh, yeah.
it'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
We'll try to get some scores here from Jeff.
Yeah, maybe
soon
I'll
as we
sneak
can.
into the
don't
tournament
see him sitting
office and see if I can't get a printout here.
As we start the 10th frame here. Well, actually, they're finishing up on 3 and 4, so we'll probably head over to 13 and 14 next to start game number 3. As they have finished. Danny Clark's looked like he's probably in his 10th frame. Excuse me. One more game of the tournament left for qualifying. We'll stay on the air until we have the final rundown so you can see who makes it to the finals and the semifinals tomorrow morning. Semifinals tomorrow morning start at 9:30. Finals around 11:30. They will re-oil after the semifinals. And Scott is back with no paper.
I get it's not ready yet, I guess.
He had some distractions.
Yeah, we've had some sideshows going on. What do we have here? What did I miss?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Some more low scores. People finishing up. We're sitting on 13 and 14 now. As they have finished. Quarter after 10 here on the
East side of Indiana.
I was going to say East Coast, but east side of Indiana.
By the way, we didn't announce, I don't believe, but Charles Rott, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, and he was a squad leader at the 430 squad with a 684, and he started out with a 290 game.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to interview the squad leader. Number one, we might have forgotten because we were hungry, and we also couldn't find him. He started off on fire that first game.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, man, I can't wait to get back on a house pattern.
You'll be frustrated Wednesday.
Jackson Cross from Lafayette is on 1 and 2. Throwing that, what looks like that brand new Hero Solid he picked up from his contest with us and
In
Mark
April.
Sullivan. Yeah, so. And by the way, the winner of the jersey, I do have it. I will be reaching out to you for
Your address.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm texting my buddy who is a big Colts fan. He was hoping that the Colts would get Stafford. I'm kind of curious his thoughts on what the Colts will do now.
Yeah, it's not going to be Deshaun Watson. No way the Texans are going to trade him
In
within
the division.
if they even do it.
Yeah, you kind of find that hard to believe.
No.
My fear is that the Cowboys are not going to be able to re-sign Dak Prescott,
They're stuck with Andy Dalton.
and I don't know what they'll do at that point. They don't have the resources to go after Deshaun Watson.
No.
And I don't believe the Colts do either. The Jets seem like a reasonable destination because they have a ton of first-round picks. Now, the Rams had no first-round picks in I don't believe next year or the year after that. So I don't know. They had to trade. They won't have a first-round pick then for 4 or 5 years.
No. Oh, we got some standings.
Oh, here we go. Thanks, Paul. Let's see what we got here. Sammy Kruchek shot 277 his first game.
Where was he born?
And let's see what he shot game 2, because he was on 7 and 8. He shot 177. But he's still going to be plus 54.
Yeah,
John Burge, does that name ring a bell?
it does.
John Burge bowled the Lafayette Open in its first few years. Matter of fact, made our TV show. When,
Yes, he did.
We used to have a live television show. Not live, but we taped it.
Yeah.
John Burge shot 253. Dwayne Perry shot 244. Danny Clark with a 238 game 1.
So there was some scores, but just not down where we are.
Kevin Zatorsky shot 225. John Long, 223. Bailey Maverick, 216. John Blackburn, 214. And then it drops all the way down to Scotty Kramer and Scott Schmall with 205. So, again, not a lot of big scores. You got some. Now, if Gene Perez was worried, really you have 2 guys to worry about. So let's just say those 2 guys go around you. It looks like Gene would be right on the outside of the top 16. But I think Gene Perez would be the number.
And consistency has not been a thing, really, that much today.
Yeah, because Jeff has that wrong. So actually, Gene Perez would be the number. So the guy he's got to worry about right now is John Burge, Dwayne Perry, and Danny Clark. I don't know what either one of those did in game number 2.
People are asking about your Lafayette Open, Scott. So we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I can't tell you a thing because I don't know a thing. When you lose your center, there's a lot that goes in to figuring out if you can actually run it again. Hey, we got Mark Sullivan here on lane 14.
Yes, we
The
do.
ageless one of Mark Sullivan.
And it seems like he throws it the same as he did when he was a much younger guy bowling the Lafayette Open in the early days.
Yeah, and everybody will tell you Mark's like a fine wine. He just gets better with age, and really has done quite well out on the senior PBA 50 tour.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wishes that was going on again. But now he has a pro shop at All-Star Bowl.
Yep. And he still has a full-time job, and so Mark's got his hands in a little bit of everything here. And,
Yeah.
And there's a Wonder Woman sighting on 5 and 6.
Do you come with your own theme music? You come with your own theme music?
I should.
We should ask her where her lasso is. That's supposed to, when she put that around you, you were supposed to tell the truth.
She doesn't have the lasso.
I know, she didn't have it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Cammie Devine. She works here at Championship Lanes. And
She's a social media director for all the family Was it Family Fun Time Centers or
Yeah.
whatever Dave calls it?
Yep. FTC,
Yep.
Fun Time Centers.
Oh yeah, Mark is a newlywed too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, like you said, Chad, game 2, once we get those scores,
It's going to give us a good idea of what's going
you're
on.
going to have that second game tells the story. Well, Jackson started off with a spare double and now left a 10 pin, but I didn't see him up here in the top. He's not in the top 64 after 1.
Oh, wow.
He's not in the top 96 after 1. Sammy Kruchek did bowl a previous squad, shot 599, so he's looking to improve that. All right, game 3 here starting of the final qualifying squad for the Indiana Masters. Want to thank our sponsors once again, Motive Bowling, Mike Albee's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette, Big Four Socks, Pinheads Bowling Center out of Fishers, the Indiana State USBC, and the Anderson-Madison County Visitor Bureau. Their contributions to this broadcast has made it possible, and we want to thank those sponsors for all of their contributions. Scott Gilmore here, Chad Lester. We're in the broadcast booth. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back on the air at 9:30 for the 2-game semifinal round between seeds number 17 through 48. Pins will carry over. And the top 16 after this squad are locked into match play. And then seeds again 17 through 48 will bowl 2 more games. Pins carry over, and after those 2 games, then seeds 17 through 32 will be seeded in match play. And it'll be single game double elimination format. Probably sometime around, I'm going to say 3 or 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock probably, that we'll have our championship match.
So we are in hour 16.
Is that it?
Yes.
Well, you know one thing, we have been here since 6:15 this morning. So 12, 13,
This is hour
14,
16.
15, 16. Yeah, 16 hours and 15 minutes we've been here at this bowling center.
Nothing like seeing a tournament from start to finish, literally. But it's fun. It's all worth it.
Absolutely.
We enjoy it.
It's one of the best events in the state of Indiana. And this year, just one of the toughest patterns that I think we've seen. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens tomorrow in match play. And again, the nice thing about the format is you're bowling one person. You're on the same pair and you're battling the same. It's not like an eliminator where
Yeah.
you're bowling against the whole field. Your opponent has the same conditions that you do, and again, I think one of the toughest tournaments to win, and you're going to see a lot of great action tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun.
Now the drama's away from us. What are we going to do?
I just happened to be in the tournament office, and Brian Nunning was texting someone else in there asking what was going on. So Brian, we got to be careful. Brian is listening to us, and we thank you for watching, Brian. We do appreciate that. Hope you're getting to feel. Hope you get to feeling better soon.
Yeah, I wish you were here. Hopefully you can help with the senior masters.
Yeah.
Hey, they don't have to do anything with the suggestions. I mean, but they need to know that there could be some interest,
We're just trying to help.
Sure.
Stir the pot, too. Cammie with an open in the first.
Just checking her watch. Is this over yet? Taking a look at 3 and 4 here. We'll stay with them for a couple more frames and then head over to 7 and 8.
And we do want to reiterate, because obviously a lot of guys are struggling. Hey, this is a extremely difficult pattern.
Yeah.
Right now, 570 something was low to cash right now. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how difficult it is.
It's a grind.
And not only do you have to be physically sharp, you got to be mentally sharp too as well, because you'll fry rather quickly if you don't.
Yeah, and some people might look at the standings and say, well, the scores look fine to me, but there's also 421 bowlers in the field.
Right.
So you're still going to have some people who are going to hit it.
Young man on lane 8, front 3, gutter.
Chip in the chat room's asking about the tournament that is held at Arrowhead, and I think he's talking about the Scratch Classic. That's usually the second weekend in November.
Yep.
So he might be coming from Colorado. They might be here
Ah.
because they're Indiana natives, it looks like.
Oh, I've just seen 2 gutters now here. Of course, a lot of these guys are playing the extreme outer part of the lane. And if you leaked it just a little bit right, it would go in.
Yeah, that's the thing about having to play the extreme outside is can't miss.
Jackson Cross with a double in the 7th and 8th. 129 in the 6th. I don't know what he had game 2, but no matter what, you always like to finish your set with this the best game possible. It's pretty easy to tell who's bowling well and who's not, though. The body language, the nonverbal communication says it all.
And sometimes the throwing of a towel or kicking a ball return.
It was never the ball return's fault, though.
No. I had a former boss when I was young, worked at a bowling center, and one of the bowlers kicked the ball return, and he said, "How would you like it if I came to your house and kicked your TV?" And the guy understood.
Right. Especially if you told him that, when the TV wouldn't turn to the right channel. Then that makes a little bit more sense.
Uh-huh.
The ball return has no control over where you throw the ball. And your TV has no control over what channel you turn it to.
That's right.
And here's Cammie. You'll see her ball come off to the right.
Oh, that's a good
and
shot.
she throws a high flush strike on lane 6. Wonder Woman with a strike. I don't know if you, I have this Pen Pal app.
Yeah,
And
I've got it.
so I log
Haven't used it
everything.
for a while.
I log everything in, and I almost hated to log in my scores this weekend. It knocked my spare percentage way down.
Jeff Hudson asked where all the left-handers was, and I said they all quit. And Gene's just laughing. Yeah, your split percentage went way up, and your spare percentage went way down.
Way down. Well, it knocked my. I've only made out of, let's see here, spares, no, splits. Yeah, my split conversion rate is not very good. I wouldn't imagine it's probably good for many people, but
All right.
I will say this: my single pin in all my tournament, and this is 405 tournament games, my single pin spare conversion rate is 95%.
That's not bad.
I'm a 71% overall spare shooter. That's because my split conversion percentage is down to 12%. But my makeable spare conversion is 87%. So, not the worst. And for 405 games, my tournament average is 207.25. And this weekend probably knocked that down by, it probably was 212 or better.
Yeah.
This weekend, these last 8 games, 2 last night and 6 today, has really knocked my average down a bunch. Anyway, I don't know if you have the Pen Pal, but a really interesting app.
It's worth it, and it's worth buying the add-ons.
Absolutely.
Because you open up more stat features. And it's not expensive.
No, now it's $2 or $3, I think. $4 maybe. You just have to get in the habit of putting all your stuff in. I know one thing. I am not missing my coffee tomorrow morning.
You know, you won't have a reason to miss it.
No. I should ask Angie what time they start serving breakfast. Right, she's right behind us. What time do they start serving breakfast tomorrow?
What time's breakfast start tomorrow?
My cook will be here at 5, so
We're not going to be here at 5.
7.
No, 7.
Well, that's still too early.
That's still too early.
Opening the doors at 8.
Okay, we'll probably be here around 8,
So similar.
8:30, 8. Well,
Yeah, we'll be
8:30
here in
at the
plenty of
earliest,
time.
yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
No, we're
everybody can
talking.
hear you.
Yeah.
Everybody just heard
They're all
what
coming
time.
here for breakfast tomorrow. A bottle of wine, is that what you said?
Oh, goodness. Here's Dwayne Burton here on the right lane, throwing a dull urethane ball.
Verbal sitting man there. At least
Leaves just
Yeah.
the 6-10.
he said one time. One time. How many years? Yeah, I know. But it's about ready to happen again.
Well, I saw him sitting back there. I was just like, oh.
I told Gene that we were talking about him. Hold on, because he said there's no sound.
There's nothing to hear.
Yeah.
No, it looked like we have a little bit of a spill
Oh, geez.
down here in Wonder Woman's area.
Did she do it? Because that's where she was sitting.
I don't know.
No, she's sitting back here like, oh, she's all innocent.
Is she back here?
Just right here. Did you spill that? Did you spill that?
I did not. That was not me.
Oh, okay.
My lane's not 7, is it? 5 and 6.
Well, it wasn't Cammie, so we won't blame her. All right, some pairs are done. 1 and 2 is done.
Wow, they got that. Well, there's some that have all the
There's some that have 5 and some
pairs,
have 4.
Yeah, all the pairs that have 5 are right here. Jeff did that on purpose so they would finish close to the tournament office. I heard him telling Angie that earlier.
There's a lot of things you got to plan out.
Yeah, he does very good.
Trent Jarvis with a 3-bagger. He's rather excited about it. He's on 7 and 8.
We'll go down to 13 and 14 for a minute. Looks like they're actually we'll go down to 13 and 14 we started on. We'll go to 7 and 8. 13 and 14 is actually done. So we just have the 2 pair of lanes going on. We'll flip back every couple frames here.
Yeah, even though of our tournament our TV pairs, I should say, conclude prior to the end of the squad being done, we'll leave it here until we have all the scores announced, the cut score, the top 16. We'll have all that announced before we leave the air tonight.
And if you don't hear any sound while we're waiting on the scores, don't worry. It's okay. We're still here. So that's why Jacob was trying to get us to get Angie in the booth. And she said no, because we know she'd say no. Because when she heard that we were broadcasting, when we were asking about breakfast, she put her hand over her mouth like, oh no, I don't want them to hear me.
I was talking to Dwayne Burton a little bit here while we had it on silent, and he was at 391 at the turn, and he was just telling me all of the frustrations of his bowling today. This is his 3rd squad, and it will wear on you mentally, and that's where he said he's at. He's just really tired. And
well, and what's crazy is, like, what's the thought process of re-entering? Do you feel, if you feel like you're close, do you re-enter, or are they just, even if they're not close, are they re-entering anyways? Just maybe you get lucky and figure something out.
well, I think a lot of these guys are, one, you're competitive. You want to win this tournament. So the second thing is I give it the old parring the, you go birdie, par, birdie
Yeah.
on your round of 18 after the first 15 holes were just atrocious, and it just sucks you right back in. But these guys are competitive. The Masters is only once a year. It's it's the premier state event. Everybody wants to win it, and you want to feel like you gave yourself enough shots to try to win. And it's like anything. You look at the cut score, Chad, and you're thinking to yourself, it's only plus 12. And
which is low, really.
yes, and that's what you're thinking. It's like, I just got to get a couple of hits here and there, and I'm right there.
Yeah.
Especially if you shoot 570 or 580, right?
Well, yeah, if you're shooting 570, 580, you got to be thinking, I'm close. I can just pick up a few more spares, stay out of trouble, It's like 7 and 8 is in the 9th frame.
Well, hopefully I can. Brian Nunning sent me a text, and I want to share a couple of points that he makes here.
Okay.
And he says he is on the men's. That's great.
Good.
He does encourage any and all feedback and suggestions be emailed to Brian himself and association manager Kerry Kane. Well, I should say Brian Nunning is association manager. Kerry Kane is the president. So, again, you know, you never know. We could petition for a senior masters. Who knows what would happen? It's just a thought. But again, Brian and does a phenomenal job as association manager.
He does.
And I will say this: I've learned a lot about what goes on in the state
With operations.
with operations and so forth, and more than I did prior. And that's obviously thanks to Brian and the staff. And we truly appreciate all the hard work and volunteering and that goes on behind the scenes. And I think if more bowlers realized what these gentlemen and ladies do, they would have a bigger appreciation for what goes on. So
For sure.
again, and we thank the state for allowing Savage Bowling TV to be a big part of this. And
It gives our state a really good exposure.
absolutely. And this is fun for us. And again, we really appreciate everybody out there watching. And we appreciate the time you take in our product. And we hope we bring the best that we can possibly do for you. And we look forward to tomorrow, too. It's going to be a great day of bowling. And
It's a whole new tournament starting tomorrow.
absolutely. I'll be honest with you. I felt like there was nothing better than match play at the State Masters. And unfortunately, I will not be participating in that part.
First time in a while, too.
Yeah, I made it last year, and it was exciting to do that. Of course, Cameron Clark ran me over in game number 1. But, you know, it was kind of frustrating. I look back at the scoring when everything was done because you don't see what goes on. You got matches going on from lanes 3 through and 4 all the way down to the upper 20s. So it's hard to tell what's going on when you're bowling in your matches. But I had the highest losing score in the first round last year. And that's the breaks. And you would see a pair right over to you, and somebody would win with 157, 157 to 140 something. You shoot 212, and you're going to the losers bracket. So that's just part of it. That's what makes this tournament the hardest tournament in the state to win.
Yeah.
So many things have to go your way.
All right. 2 things. Jeff Hudson's asking how Grego bowled.
Grego struggled in his first block. I know he bowled, I believe he bowled the 930 squad. I don't know exactly his score, but I believe his first 2 games were 174. And I don't believe he bowled very good in the second. I do not see him, Jeff, in the top 96 scores.
And Gene's asking what you think about his score.
Let me tell you a story about Gene Perez. No, I'm not. I won't do that. Let me just ask the chat. Let me ask you a question in the chat, whoever's listening. If you bowled, you're bowling a doubles tournament,
Oh, gosh.
and you bowl with a person, and you win that doubles tournament, do you or I should say do you not, or do you bowl with the same guy the following year at the same tournament?
I know that answer.
I'm just curious. Let me know what you guys would do. And in the final game, you shoot 299, a Baker 299 to win. Do you bowl with that same bowler the following year? It's especially if it's a 40 over and under tournament.
Gene's going like this emoji with his hand on his chin, like,
I'm asking for a friend, chat room. Obviously,
Yeah, there's people backing said person saying, yes, you should bowl again. or they should bowl again.
I will say this: that tournament is the score. The pattern is a heck of a lot easier than it is here.
No, look at the people saying yes, definitely. Gene Perez just said he owes you one. For those of you asking to change pairs, we are not changing pairs because they're almost done. Sorry.
Yeah, we're only down here to
One bowler left on 3 and 4, one bowler left on 7 and 8, and they're going to finish at the same time. And I can't do split screen. Well, I could, but it would take me longer to set it up than.
right. We're just. I mean, there's only
It's a no-brainer. You guys should bowl again.
1, 2, 3 pairs are only going right now.
Mm-hmm. And they're all right in front of us. So all the ones with 5 bowlers.
And I'm sorry, folks, but we don't even have game 2 scores.
No.
Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
Yeah, it gives us something to talk about while we're waiting on game 3 scores and the overall standings. So both pairs are done. For some reason, 9 and 10 is only in their 4th frame. I think they had a breakdown maybe. So we might move a camera to that. You guys can see what's going on. Yeah, there's an issue on 10.
All right, let's see here.
I'm going to move the camera because 9 and 10 is going to be the only one bowling. They're only halfway through the game.
So we got Dwayne Perry at 464 at the turn, Sammy Kruchek at 454, and then John Burge at 446. Right now, Gene Perez in the chat room would be the cut at 16th place. Here's the importance of fill bowls, getting 9 or better on your fill in 3 games. Because you have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places separated by 8 pins. 9 spots separated by 8 pins. That shows you just how close scoring is. And that would determine that 8 pins is the difference between 18th and 10th. So, and then from 10th place you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots separated by 4 pins. So it just shows you how close things are when it comes to scoring in this tournament. But those are, Danny Clark is at plus 38. Those are the only guys at the turn that have, and probably Bailey Maverick at 427, that really have what you would say a good shot of possibly getting into that top 16.
So you're saying Gene's going to get beat?
I'm not saying that at all.
Fingers are crossed.
I was looking for...
Gene, I don't think you have anything to sweat about, and I think he's probably sitting at home biting his nails.
Well, right now when I'm looking here on the top 48, 48th place right now would be plus 10.
Wow.
So that's right on pace with last year.
Uh-huh. Isn't it crazy how that works out?
Now, that's without taking any duplicates. So you take Scotty Kramer out here, who's probably in twice. Let's see if he's in again.
And I think he might have taken some of those duplicates out. I know he was taking duplicates out during the last squad.
Well, I believe Ryan Sidney's in here twice. Yes, he's in here twice.
You should have lofted the ball more, Scott. I saw him do that on 10.
Timmy Mack was +1 at the turn, so he's going to have to shoot 210 or better to get into this cut number.
Yeah.
As right now, it is looking to me at +6 with a bunch of ties. There would be 1, 2, 3 bowlers tied at that score. The biggest turnaround today was John Murphy, who started at 145 his first game and came back to shoot 631 +86 the next 2 games.
Wow.
All right, I believe we have just
9
one
and 10.
pair.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a breakdown on lane 10, I believe.
And they're 5 frames behind.
Yeah.
I'm still supposed to work for it, but I was hoping to make match when I ain't got to go to work. Of course, that 2 pin has it.
And we're going to try to show you as much as we can here. Now, if Ryan Pittman and Terry Vaughn would just get out of the way, we might be able to see something. A nice strike there
Oh, he left the 7 pin.
for a double.
He left the 7 pin.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
They just swept it off.
No, he didn't leave the 7 pin. It showed a strike.
Looked like a 7 pin to me.
Gosh, come on, Chad. I know it's
brought my
late.
glasses. They're in a case right here in front of me.
I know it's late.
It is. It's way past my bedtime. 11 o'clock. Hour 17.
No, don't remind me. You know, these guys are cutting into my beauty sleep, and as people that know me know, I need beauty sleep. I did get a couple of nice compliments, said I look better with a mask on today, so I'm going to take that as a compliment.
The pin stood in the gutter on that when I thought it was a 7 pin. So, yeah, from here it looked like it was a 7 pin, but it was standing up in the gutter.
Well,
That makes
He's
sense.
got a nice game going. Front 3, 9 spare, and then a double through
Yeah.
6. Brooklyn leaves the 6 pin. All right, we're going to kind of chill out here, and don't worry, we're just going to turn the sound down, and we'll come back on the air when we have the final tallies. This pair in the 7th frame here in their final game. That's the only pair going.
They're bowling pretty fast.
And they're moving right along.
They don't
And
have to use 2-lane courtesy for anybody, so.
no. So we'll be right back here with final scores, your top 16, and your cut number at 48th here in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back here to Savage Bowling TV's presentation of the Indiana Masters 2021 version. And we do have kind of the official, unofficial scores.
Unofficial right now until Jeff announces it.
Yeah. Right now, your overall squad leader was E.J. Tackett with 106, plus 106. Second place right now, Sammy Kruchek with a 690. Kevin McCune third with 688. Charles Rott with 684. Noel Vega and Jimmy Cook at 682. Rick Glaze at 672. Matt Sanders, 664. John Verbich and Joseph Litton at 662. Zach Weidman, 661. Joey Criswonos at 660 and Dwayne Perry at 660. Trent Marner at 659, Scott Johnson at 658, and your top 16 is Gene Perez at 657. Again, that is the official scores.
We told you, Gene.
Yes, absolutely. Now, your cut score to the top 48. The top 48 and ties will come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. and bowl 2 games. Then we'll seed scores 17 through 32 in the match play bracket portion. So pins do carry over. And your cut score for tomorrow is +5. Billy Hibbard, Austin Bilby, Scott Dillion, all at +5 at 48th, 47th, 48th, and 49th.
Unofficial, though, still.
That is the unofficial official.
Unless Jeff finds a mistake.
Well, of course, Scott Schmall, who bowled I don't know how many sets, but he was asking me and if he made it in. So, he does. Scotty will make it in. Congratulations to him. He'll bowl 2 games. Now, 17th place right now is +55. 32nd is Trent Jarvis at +20. So think about this. 32nd through 49th is separated by 15 pins. So a lot can happen in 2 games.
Yeah, when we see up and down scores like we did today, there could be a lot of movement.
Absolutely. One thing you can do is you can download the team app. If you download the team app, you can also you can search for the Indiana Masters, and you can click on that, and you can look at all the scores and postings, Jeff and the staff here for the State USBC.
And you'll be able to follow tomorrow. If you're in the chat, I left the link. It's a pinned comment. So just click that link and then register.
Yeah, and you can follow along. They do a great job of updating all the scores.
Yes, they do.
Throughout the entire day. You can see bracket scores and all kinds of stuff. So the team app is where you need to go for all of the latest information on the Indiana Masters. Again, your cut score to the top 48 +5, +57 is your top 16. Seeds 17 through 48 will come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 and bowl 2 games to find out who rounds out the top 32. We'll be here broadcasting all the action tomorrow morning. We'll be on the air somewhere right around 9:30, 9:25. We'll take the air right after the conclusion of the national anthem, and then we'll bring you all the action until we crown our 2021 champion. We thank you for watching qualifying here today from Anderson inside Championship Lanes for the 2021 Indiana Masters. For Chad Lester